say anything
Preach,
that
preacher.
true.
Well, it seems now that you're
Hallelujah.
backpedaling because you directly said that
Hallelujah.
we invented it. You're welcome, indicating that science or that
Yeah.
theistic belief has a monopoly on science. I'm sorry, no
don't
historian is
understand.
going to
Sugar-
agree with that.
Sugar
Are
butt.
Are you
Sugar
going to
butt.
thank the Muslims for the number system that you use?
No. They stole it from the Indians.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Oh,
Arabian
goodness.
Muslims came
no,
up with
I-
the number
Isn't
system
it
that we
better
still
to just
use.
think of it as
Give
human?
credit. I'll give him credit for it. Sure.
Mhm.
No,
Notice how Leophilius just automatically dismisses this claim Jamie makes and starts laughing, treating Jamie with contempt. Then his atheist butt buddy will come in and agree with Jamie. Much to Leo's chagrin.
actually,
The facts there. and how the facts.
it did come from India. It came to us via the Arabs, but it did originate in India.
I don't
I've been
know
saying
about
that.
that.
Yeah,
Here-
yeah.
here's-
Arabic
I
numerals
don't
came
know
from
about
India
that. Egg on your face. You're a dumbass. Exposed.
originally. He's actually right.
Here's what Christianity came up with.
But then,
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Here's what Christianity came up with, or Paul. Not even Christianity. Here's what Paul came up with: faith. And guess what faith is? Bullshit. You're welcome, Christianity.
Faith is awesome.
No, I was wrong. Marshall is correct. They they originated in India in the 6th or 7th century, according to the
he's not going to
Encyclopedia
think
Britannica.
he's not going to think the people from India.
Who said faith is awesome?
I already did. What do you mean?
You
can thank them as they're on their way to hell.
I said I'm going to
Faith is the best way to ascertain the truth.
Wait, hold on. Wait, no.
Whoa,
Hold up
whoa,
here.
whoa.
We've got a
P-Mars is
very
trolling
important.
us.
Hold on. I've got a very important
That's
question to ask
trolling.
P-Mars. Very important question. What is? How are you defining truth in this?
Okay, see how I'm getting accused of trolling here? I'm not trolling. I am stating an opinion I got from Alan Watts. Shoot. Is he a troll?
There is this strange persistence of insisting that our group
Here,
is
let
the
me-
best group.
I'm gonna play this. So I'm trolling, right? Because I have the same opinion as Alan Watts.
But there is this strange persistence of insisting that our group is the best group. And I feel that there is in this something peculiarly irreligious, and furthermore it exhibits a very strange lack of faith. Because I believe that there is a strong distinction between faith on the one hand and belief on the other. And belief, stated, say, in the Creed, is a fervent hope that the universe will turn out to be thus and so. And in this sense, therefore, belief precludes the possibility of faith, because faith is openness to truth, to reality, whatever it may turn out to be. I want to know the truth. That is the attitude of faith. And therefore, to use ideas about the universe and about God as something to hang on to in the spirit of Rock of Ages cleft for me, and there's something very rigid about a rock. And we are finding our rock getting rather worn out in an age where it becomes more and more obvious that our world is a floating world. It's a world floating in space where all positions are relative and any point may be regarded as the center. A world which doesn't float on anything, and therefore the religious attitude appropriate to our time is not one of clinging to rocks, but of learning to swim. And you know that if you get in the water and you've nothing to hold on to, and you try to behave as you would on dry land, you will drown. But if, on the other hand, you trust yourself to the water and let go, you will float. And this is exactly the situation of faith. The Christian proverb is that man's extremity is God's opportunity. And so people, in other words, have to get desperate. Imagine the idea that the moment you were born, you were kicked off the edge of a precipice, and you're falling. As you fell, a great lump of rock came with you, and is traveling alongside you. And you're clinging to it for dear life, and thinking, gee, I've got to hold on to this, you see? Well, it doesn't do a thing for you. And it's only making you anxious. And it's only when you understand that it doesn't do a thing for you that you let go and relax. So everybody's in this situation. We're all completely insecure. We're all headed straight for death as if we had been condemned by a judge. And yet here we are all clinging on to things. And we have all sorts of alibis for doing this. We say, well, I have responsibilities for my dependents and I've got to cling on. But all you're doing is you're teaching your dependents to cling in the same way as you are. And making them miserable by learning to go on surviving compulsively. So the thing is, same way, if you're caught in a torrent and you try to get out of it by swimming against it, you'll just wear yourself out and you're still carried along with it. So the sensible thing to do is to turn around and swim with it. And if you want to get out of it, swim towards the edge. But go with it. Same way when you're sailing. Always keep the wind in your sails. If you want to go against the wind, tack. But use the wind. So it's this way, you know. We're all in this great stream of change, which we call life. We are the stream. If you imagine you're separate from it and you're being carried along by it as if you were a cork, that's a delusion. You're a wave of the stream itself. So get with it.
So yeah, not trolling. I was trying to make the point that when we form a belief, it creates a bias because everyone wants to think that their beliefs are true. No one's going to believe something if it's not true. They don't think it's true. And that faith is this attitude where you accept things, you let go of your beliefs, and you accept things the way they are, regardless of what you want to be true or what you believe to be true. So to me, the attitude of faith is the best attitude to ascertain truth objectively.
Manner.
Objective reality.
I don't know what you mean
truth.
when you say that. Like, but when you say to say that truth is objective truth just seems tautological. That's uninformative. So how are you defining truth in this particular instance?
So this asshole, Leophilius, never asked anyone the entire stream to define a word. Well, maybe that was because he was the only one that was talking. Like, he just bloviates the entire time. You notice, like, people who talk the most are the most ignorant, and people who talk the least have the most knowledge. So, he's just asking me to define words. Like, I'm not allowed to fucking talk and express myself. I have to fucking stumble over like 8 fucking atheist retards here asking me stupid questions, interrupting me. I don't get a chance to really talk at all. I don't know, you know, truth.
Well, no, I don't know what you mean by that, actually. I know what I mean when I use that word, but I don't know what you mean when you use that word.
Like love, freedom.
Well, love would be an emotion. I don't see how love has the property of truth.
Love is.
I don't think love is an emotion. I think it transcends.
So what's your definition of truth?
Love.
I don't know what that means.
He's stoned.
He said objective morality.
I mean, I'm stoned. I'm coherent here, so
I'm not
don't give us a bad rep now.
I'd rather not define words.
Well, that's important, though. We got to know what the things that we're talking about mean, right? Because if we don't agree on that, then that's going to be an obvious point of contention, and the discussion can't move forward. So what we mean by what we say is very important to a decision.
He doesn't want the discussion to move forward. That's why he keeps asking me to define words and interrupting me. He's a complete fraud. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about half the time. Human being, I'm not a dictionary.
Just love God, just love Jesus.
Yeah, dude,
doesn't matter if it's true or not.
Just love shit.
It can all be bullshit, but we just love him.
I don't understand. What's the problem, man? It's like
he died for us.
Well,
Don't you believe in? You don't believe in love, or what? You don't.
I
You
agree
want to
in
hate? You
love.
want to hate everyone and be angry?
hold on.
I'd rather love people.
Everybody, hold on. It's not a matter of nobody wants to love or not, but when we're going to have these conversations about these beings that then are supposed to comport to our reality, which then would make them true or untrue, we need to understand what you believe, or at least how you define truth. So if you could give that, that would be important. If not, then it's not worth having a conversation with you about whether a God or
Sounds like you want to have a conversation with. This is so retarded. They're asking me a deep philosophical question that like no one can really fucking answer, right? And it's like, dude, like I'm fucking speaking English. Do you know what truth means or not? Like, fuck off. Like, this is ridiculous, dude. They all know what truth means. There's no reason for me to fucking define truth. A dictionary.
No, I want to have a conversation with you, but I need to know your definitions.
Okay. They don't want to have a conversation. They want to ask me the definitions of words instead of listening to what I have to say, right? No other. Watch this whole stream. It's like fucking 4 hours. Does anyone else get asked the definitions of words other than me? No. Okay, but
dictionaries aren't actually.
I don't. I'm a human being. I'm not a dictionary, so I don't know why you're asking me to define words. I think you're a weirdo.
Hold on.
Why would you? Wait a minute.
No.
Would you have a conversation with somebody?
Pause. Everybody pause.
I don't ask people on YouTube to define words for me. I go to a dictionary. That's just me.
Wait, but dictionaries give usages.
Oh my God! Please. Everybody, just give me one chance. I'm going to go to bed. So just give me a chance. So I hear what you're saying. Yes, there is a dictionary, and if you and I, if we want to, we can do a screen share on our computer or our phones, and we can look it up together. Right? We can do that. But the reason we ask that, or I.
This is an interesting conversation in the chat here with Greta Thunberg. I stick with observable facts as it avoids mixing up the brainwashed and delusional people. You know, it's interesting. Jacques Ellul said, "Modern man worships facts." Let's see here. Where's the wiki quote? People think they have no right to judge a fact. All they have to do is accept it. Thus, from the moment that technique, the state, or production are facts, we must worship them as facts, and we must try to adapt ourselves to them. This is the very heart of the modern religion, the religion of the established fact, the religion on which depend the other religions, the dollar, the race, or the proletariat. So, I agree with this, right? Like, it's funny. Everyone goes to suck off facts. Like, oh, the facts support my side. And then they cherry pick the facts that support their narrative, omit the facts that go against their narrative, pretend they don't exist. Like, what the fuck? What the kind of fuck system for truth is this? This is a laughable joke. You're ridiculous. You're facts. Fuck facts. I don't give a fuck about facts. And like what no one knows the real truth is correct, where he says many facts are proven to be wrong further down the line. True. Like modern medicine used to say mercury would cure STDs, and on the Lewis and Clark expedition, the men would rub mercury on their groin to cure their STDs. They thought that was factual at the time, right? Scientific theory is a fact. It's you're using theory meaning never mind. Okay, scientific theories are facts. When we colloquially use the word theory, like when I say I have a theory, I'm saying I have a hypothesis. But a scientific theory is closer to fact than hypothesis. Scientific theories are facts. They are akin to facts. The hypothesis would be closer to our colloquial use of the word theory. So, but just because something's a fact doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So, I mean, whatever, it's a fact. So what?
Ask that. What is your definition of truth? Is so that we're on the same page. It's not me asking you to be Webster Dictionary. I just want to know how you define truth in your reality.
It's been a while since we had Dat come on and read the dictionary to us. So
Truth is objective reality, and love is a commitment and sacrifice to the
I don't
other.
understand that.
To understand what?
What truth is objective reality?
Oh my God.
I don't.
Truth is what is objectively reality. What's wrong with that?
Well, yeah, but that somebody who doesn't necessarily adhere to the correspondence theory of truth may reject that. So,
Well, okay.
what's the argument for what you're saying?
You asked what my common definition of truth is, or
So he wants to. So here is what's going on. He knows, he's learned this one thing, the correspondence theory of truth, right? It's probably like the only thing he's learned about, and now he's trying to direct every argument to this like stupid philosophical discussion on truth. Like, I'm fucking trying to have a conversation, right? But he is now we're having a philosophical conversation about the definition of truth, and I have not been allowed to even give an opinion, thanks to Leophilius, who is censoring me for some reason. Like, I think like he's afraid someone would disagree with him and expose him as a fraud, so he's doing this, like trying to make things semantical and ask me definitions of truth and get into like deep philosophical discussions. Like, what the fuck? This is out of nowhere. This has nothing to do with what the fucking topic. This is like a bullshit technique this guy does to people, I guess.
that's my common definition of truth, my non-technical definition. And love is basically being committed to the other person before yourself, but like sacrifice, commitment.
I love you. By the way, I am sharing my screen just because I want to make a very quick point on the matter of truth.
So is there one objective reality?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because according to relativity, you can have two observers who both say that their objective reality is one is different from each other. They don't agree on what's real.
Listen to this fucking nonsense. Oh, two people have different objective realities and blah blah blah. Dude, what the fuck? Dude, why do we have to go in a philosophical discussion on the meaning of truth? Like, are you fucking kidding me? There's nothing to do with what we were talking about. They've totally diverted. Now it's like, what the fuck? Like, and like they've all been allowed to just spew bullshit, and then I try and like talk, and I get this is what they do to me. Like, so any theists who come here, you get fucked with, and they don't let you talk apparently, unless you're saying dumb shit like Jamie Russell was saying. Then they'll let you go on and on.
They're both right.
They're both right.
A quick point of just nuance. It's not that they disagree on objective reality. It's that they disagree on particular measurements of objective. Reality is still objective. Yeah. How they're measuring it, they can't be agreed upon, because how we measure things must be with respect to something else. Otherwise, what does it mean to measure something?
So you're always measuring.
That's what I meant.
You all know what it means by that, don't you?
I mean, you got to be that way.
It's fucking word salad. This fucking word salad. This guy. That's fucking He's just saying nonsense. Like, no one knows what the fuck you're saying, dude. Shut up. Faith, and you don't have bias. That's why faith is superior.
I don't think so.
So I was trying to bring it back to what I was like talking about, but my whole point, like, everything's so fucking derailed at this point. Whatever.
There's just one objective truth.
But how do you get to faith? You just arbitrarily pick something. I'm gonna just believe in this. Just because.
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
You just accept reality the way it is without your bias.
Okay, so you accept reality the way you use faith, and you have arrived at one answer.
Faith is.
What about people who use faith to arrive at a completely different answer? Does that demonstrate that it's more likely to be true or less likely to be true, or more likely to be a good method to arrive at truth or a bad method?
So his argument is bullshit, right? Because you can use a scientific method and get different answers, right? Like two paleontologists, because a lot of it relies on interpretation. Like physical evidence doesn't talk to us. Physical evidence relies on the scientist's interpretation of what the physical evidence means. So you can have two different paleontologists look at the same fossil and have different interpretation and get different meanings from what the fossil is telling us, right? So yeah, there's no issue with having two different interpretations of things. I mean, if that's an issue, then that's an issue for everyone, right? That's not just people who... And I don't think he's understanding, like... I'm talking about an attitude of faith. I'm not saying just believing in things without evidence. That's stupid. That's like the colloquial word of faith. Like, if we're talking about Christian faith is different. Christian faith is about a confidence that something is true. And I don't just believe in the Bible, right, because I just have no evidence, right? I test what the Bible says to see if it's true. I'm not stupid.
Life's a journey, man. You gotta consider the arguments.
I would say most people have a bias that they don't want to murder their children, right? You'd have that bias. I would say most people do.
Is that really a bias? I don't know if that's a good word. I mean, maybe like a disposition. I think disposition is a much better word to use there.
So the idea is you're willing to go against your bias and accept the truth. And
that's what science is all about.
Yeah,
people have unconscious.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be about.
Well, that's not what it's supposed to be. That's what it is.
It's not what it is, because it becomes institutionalized and dogmatic, and it's...
Hello.
Hi, I'm talking to...
Hi. Is my mic okay? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I was just getting overtalked. Anyway, built-in intrinsically... Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Anyway, built-in intrinsically in the methodologies of science is the concept of peer review and corroboration through peer review. The way that scientific methodologies are set up is to eliminate bias, and we can say this quite plainly as the methodologies of science are used and the level of scrutiny and questioning that goes on.
Yeah, but that's not that's not the reality, though. Like you can try to make it like that all you want, but when it's the institutions are corrupted.
What do you know about peer review, Mars? Can you
look how he's like complaining that I interrupted him? You see how he just walks all over me? What a hypocrite! Why would anyone listen to anything this guy is so full of shit? He doesn't even follow his own standards.
Tell me how the peer review process. Yeah. So then why should I listen to you?
You don't have to listen to me. You can listen to President Eisenhower and his speech.
What would I care about what some dead
farewell
guy has
address.
To say?
Well, what do I care what some dead guy has to say? Hand wave dismissal of reality, right? Let's go. Let's see what I'm talking about. Let's see here. I mean, this doesn't matter to Leophilius. What a joke. What does it matter what some dead guy said that disagrees with me, and he's in a prestigious position in the society? Okay. Here it is, and I've read this on stream many times. Of course, nobody fucking gives a fuck, right? Because it's on... P-Mars is a troll. He's a troll. Today, the solitary inventor tinkering in his shop has been overshadowed by task force of scientists in laboratories and testing fields. In the same fashion, the Free University, historically the fountainhead of free ideas and scientific discovery, has experienced a revolution in the conduct of research. Partly because of the huge costs involved, a government contract becomes virtually a substitute for intellectual curiosity. This is a lot different than the picture Leophilius was trying to paint. That's weird. The prospect of domination of the nation's scholars by federal employment project allocations and the power of money is ever present and gravely to be regarded. Are you sure, President Eisenhower? Because Leophilius has assured me that I can trust my scientific overlords. I don't know Eisenhower. Leah Phileas seems to, he's like 22 years old and on YouTube. I think he knows what he's talking about. Yet in holding scientific research and discovery in respect, as we should, we must also be alert to the equal and opposite danger that public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific technological elite. No, science is a pure, holy institution that would never be used for evil, and all science cares about is, telling me the truth and making medicines for me and making my life better. Science is pure and good. I can see no fault in it. I trust Leo Phileas. Okay. Fucking retards, dude. What are people saying in the chat? Oh, they're talking about facts and blah blah blah. People trying to make up their own science. Go read about science. I don't know what you guys are talking about in the chat, so I'm just gonna keep playing the video. Would you? Because his opinion goes against yours. So don't care about it.
I don't know what you're. I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
Go with sources that confirm what your bias says.
What bias? What bias are you talking about?
Oh yeah, you don't have any bias.
When did I say I didn't have biases? I have biases. I just don't know what you're talking about right now.
Constantly complaining.
People have unconscious biases.
I'm talking about how science is corrupt. It's not.
Yeah,
it's
you're
a
claiming
dogmatic.
that the methodologies that science uses to arrive at the conclusions of the experiments that we run is corrupted. Yet you literally just admitted you don't know anything about the peer review process. How are you going to make direct statements about
that? Is a straw man. I never claimed the methodology was corrupt. I claimed the institutions were corrupt. Thanks for your straw man, though. Yep.
How the peer review process works and that it's corrupt when, by your own admission, you don't understand.
I never brought up the peer review process. You brought up the peer review process. I don't care about the peer review. I have no interest in the peer review process whatsoever. I don't care.
Understand how it works.
I wouldn't even talk about it. I wouldn't even care to talk about it.
Well, then what happens when we use that process?
Because science is corrupt and that's the truth, and I have other sources. I don't need to submit to your demands because you're a nerd on the internet.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We get all this stuff using science. What do we get with
If you talk about science, you're talking about peer review because peer review is essential to science, and the point of it is to remove biases and eliminate them.
Exactly.
I wasn't talking about peer review. You guys brought up peer review, and I understand the point of science is to eliminate bias, but does it? Absolutely not. It's full of bias. The method, in fact, presupposes naturalism, so it right off the bat, it assumes the supernatural doesn't exist. And then you want to use it to say, look, there's no evidence for the supernatural. Well, you know what? When your methodology for discovering truths assumes that the supernatural doesn't exist, why would you use it to find evidence for the supernatural? It doesn't make a lot of sense. But hey, don't try to tell these people that.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, the point of Christianity is to love each other, but then the Crusades happened. So, just because it's the point of something to remove bias doesn't mean it actually does it.
Yeah, but we see it in its operation.
He's right,
It
dude.
works.
Peer review, you're being naive about peer review because I get it. It's an important thing. We should use it and we should attempt to use it as it's intended. But the fact of the matter is money is involved. Jobs are on the line. People.
Not really.
Okay, look, I put a thing in the chat. I've given this to you before. I don't think you've watched it.
You're giving me an external link to YouTube, not an academic citation. Why would I consider that?
Scientific source, Veritasium, that guy?
Veritasium? No, that's not an academic source. I'm sorry.
He's using academic papers to prove what he's talking about.
Yeah, well, then you can go and give me those papers. Don't give me external links to YouTube. That's very bad citation.
You're not a...
To be fair, Veritasium is a really cool... It is an awesome YouTube channel.
It is an awesome YouTube channel. That's great. I didn't deny that, but it's not an academic source.
He's using...
I know, I'm just...
What's the title of the video?
It's about peer review and its viability.
I've watched plenty of Veritasium videos. I really doubt that he would reach the same conclusion about science as you do.
I know he doesn't agree.
Highly doubt it.
I want you to watch it about peer review because you guys sound naive about it.
And
we sound naive, but you don't even know what it is.
For a second, I want to send many, many hearts to Oz and the entire crew off at Tart.
See there, and there Marshall just conflated me with Jamie because I said I don't know anything about peer review. Jamie never said that. So Marshall just straw man Jamie. This is all just bullshit. All this atheism is just bullshit, straw man.
Live, go check out the Atheist Roundtable and the Atheist Network group and all the fantastic non-believing content creators out there as we normalize atheism. See that, Randolph? I'm tying it all together.
The thing is, I just looked at this YouTube link. Actually, just a few weeks ago, I saw that video. It was in my suggested videos, and I clicked on it. This video doesn't mention anything about corruption or money or anything like that being involved. The point of the video is to show that given the methods that are utilized in the peer review process and the amount that is submitted, we are bound to get things that pass through the... That is.
Could you
clarify your position?
Why would anyone take you seriously when you're such an obvious hypocrite?
What do you mean by dogma? I have no problem clarify your position.
Why would anyone
clarify your position? Thoroughly drowned out by the fact that the vast majority of what is peer reviewed is rigorous research, even if its conclusions can't thoroughly be verified.
Well, the great thing about peer review as well is that just because something makes it past peer review doesn't mean it won't get peer reviewed sometime later on. That's the great thing about science, is that it is always open to be contested. Whereas with faith, once it
that's not true at all. Science is just as dogmatic as can be just as dogmatic as any religion.
Becomes dogma, you can't fucking question it.
No, you sure you can.
Science pretends like you can question it, but try to question the established scientific dogma, and it's like they'll go after you like you're a witch. Look at Victor Bloomberg, who wrote The Skeptical Environmentalist, and he got attacked like it was like a witch hunt by the scientific community. Okay, so there's certain dogmatic scientific truths that you're not allowed to question. Like, give me a break. The history is rife with examples of people who question the scientific dogma got mocked, ridiculed. Sometimes it took years before people would accept their results, even if they had accurate information to prove that they were saying was true. So don't give me this shit. This is not an accurate representation. This is a fantasy, what they wish science was actually like, what it's supposed to be like, but it's not practical. This is idealistic and fantasy nonsense. I totally disagree. I think science is just as dogmatic as faith, and anyone who questions the dogma, look at Andrew Wake.
Is dogma a bad thing?
Look at that shit. Like I just can't. Like I'm not allowed to fucking even speak at all. This Leo Filius is just like over talking me constantly, but like he complains about being over talked. He's so full of shit. Why do you complain about being interrupted and you constantly interrupt?
Well, I'm just trying to clarify your position.
Why would anyone take you seriously when you're such an obvious hypocrite?
What do you mean by dogma? I have
I'm just trying to clarify your position. Like every fucking time I talk, what do you mean by this word? What does this word mean? What do you mean by is? Like he's constantly doing that shit. I can't even fucking talk. Maybe he doesn't realize he's doing it because he has a pea brain.
problem being interrupted.
You know what dogma is?
When people
stop asking me. I'm not going to define. I'm not going to define words.
Yeah, you just don't. You're just not a serious.
I'm not defining words.
Yeah, you're
I'm not defining words.
You're just not a serious.
I'm a human being.
You don't care about having.
I'm not a serious. Look how he's acting and treating me, and won't let me speak. But I am not the serious interlocutor. This guy wants to sit here and preach his atheist garbage. His ideal fantasy of what science is like is not at all close to the reality of the situation. This is a joke. These people should be embarrassed and ashamed.
Discussion. You don't care about explicating what you mean.
Is dogma bad?
Yes, I think dogma is bad. I think we should be.
Even understand the
I think we should be open-minded, and to me, science isn't open-minded. It's a tool of politicians to take advantage of, like, you know. It is. Zbigniew Brzezinski talked about this.
Don't understand.
Zbigniew Brzezinski said another threat.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Zbigniew Brzezinski is? Oh my goodness!
But who is?
Politicians don't understand science, though.
Politicians don't understand science, though. Oh my goodness! Fucking idiots, dude. They don't even know who Zbigniew Brzezinski is. This is like talking to children. I don't know why. Like, how are they not embarrassed? They have no shame. This guy was the Secretary of Defense during the Carter administration. I think I might have said Reagan administration on the stream last night. I was getting flustered because I had to deal with fucking 8 demons here on this fucking stupid panel of retards. Okay, so here's Zbigniew Brzezinski. And this is a credible source. He was in the Carter administration, Secretary of Defense, prominent member of the Democratic Party. He says, another threat, less overt but no less basic, confronts liberal democracy, more directly linked to the impact of technology. It involves the gradual appearance of a more controlled and directed society. Such a society would be dominated by an elite whose claim to political power would rest on allegedly superior scientific know-how. Unhindered by the restraints of traditional liberal values, this elite would not hesitate to achieve its political ends by using the latest modern techniques for influencing public behavior and keeping society under close surveillance and control. Under such circumstances, the scientific and technological momentum of the country would not be reversed, but would actually feed on the situation it exploits. Who is Zbigniew Brzezinski? Would he disagree with my view of the science will save us? I better not know who he is. I love my narrative. I love my fantasy science lab coat people that love me and save me with their medicines and their technologies. They would never use them for evil.
So I don't know
exactly.
What you're talking about.
Like, science doesn't really have
You're
a lot
little
to do
kid.
with politics.
You don't really understand how the world works.
That's not an argument.
No. Yeah, it's not.
But it's the truth.
What do you mean by truth?
Really.
Well, he's a little kid.
Yeah. Wait,
he doesn't understand. He doesn't know who Zbigniew Brzezinski is. I mean, that's kind of embarrassing.
Were you showing love when you said that?
Because he has nothing to do with the subject.
Were you showing love when you said that? Was that said out of love?
Love is stern. It's not mere kindness. Yes, truth and honesty is love. I uplift my brother by telling them the truth. Leo, you are a petulant child and a pretty stupid person.
I mean, you haven't given any arguments
the
against
Holy
what
Spirit
I said.
compelled me to say that.
Throwing insults
Matthew
around.
10:22.
That'll speak for itself.
Whoever says to his brother, "Thou fool," is deserving of the fires of hell.
I mean, that was just rude.
Yeah,
by the way,
Jesus also called people fools. So what he's saying is you're not supposed to be angry, right? And I have no anger in my heart. I love Leo Phileas. I wish he would, see how stupid his interpretation of the Bible. Oh, Jesus said you're not supposed to call people fools, yet Jesus called people fools. So you're calling Jesus a fucking liar. You don't understand what Jesus is talking about, so don't even try to quote the Bible at me. You filthy demon, white trash, piece of shit. Learn how the world works. I could educate him.
Quite well
I'm willing to edify him.
And I don't think
he's a
there's
little
anything
child.
you could educate me on.
And I'm an old man. I could teach him some things.
I mean, you're not even giving arguments to what I'm saying.
No,
By the way,
Bible
to Will
does not
Stewart
allow
in the
that
in
at all.
the in the YouTube chat, he says so.
Bible
Fauci
does not
should be
allow that
trusted.
in any
Yes,
way.
Fauci should be trusted. In
So-
fact, he's one of the most accredited and one of the most well-respected and well-reputed scientists on the subject, literally in the world. Of course, he should be trusted. Fauci is to medicine what Stephen Hawking was to physics.
And actually, before we go into any more, we're actually going to get Amaretto, or Lunar Goddess. We have an actual goddess down there. See, look at that. We're proving theism here tonight. And I saw Blaster Master. I think he wanted to come in. Also Kinky. And we're going to go on for another 15, 20 minutes. So come on if you have something to say. And I'm halfway between, let's see, I'm going to hand it over to you, Amaretto, but it's getting later, so we're going to keep it in the all mode, but it is yours. How are you doing tonight, and what are your thoughts about, we're talking Midnight Rantin' on could the Ark have worked? But what are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we've been talking about tonight?
Yeah, I just had to kind of jump in here because, like, P. Mars, you are like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like, you are such a sack of shit to think that you know how the world works and Leophilius doesn't. Like, go fuck yourself,
The guy that
dude.
didn't know how peer review works knows how the world works, and I don't.
Like, good lord, this is why Titan and other people were saying not to let you in. You are you are the snot-nosed little shit Darth, like, talks about. Like, it's really quite sad that you think, like, you are, like, the most intelligent fucking person in this chat.
That's true. Should I cut this off? Okay, let me maybe probably. I can't. Also, she's a theist. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, I am a theist, and I think you're full of shit.
I think I'm becoming a theist. Amaretto's my new goddess or god.
Listen, I had to jump in here because I'm like, 3 of my cuties are in here, and so I was like, AJ's in here, Leo's in here, Marshall's in here. Okay,
wow, I'm one of them.
this shit.
Wait, what about Randolph?
Randolph is.
Jesus, do I need to even comment about this bitch? Holy shit! What a disgrace to humanity.
I can be daddy sometimes.
Yeah, Big Daddy
atheist. I like where all of this conversation is going.
Who's grandpa?
Now we just need the
Mental
clip
honey.
of you saying that you like being on your
Speed.
knees, Amy. But no, I think it's the idea of the arc happening. Like, this is one of those stories that I feel that really, like, puts the Bible in.
Amy up.
Attached
This is just conspiracy
label to it. No, it's not a conspiracy. Aldous Huxley. Do you think Aldous Huxley's a conspiracy?
Yeah, but no, they're not saying
You're probably quote mining.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's
I'm
doing.
not quote mining. Go look at the lecture, The Ultimate. You have not. The Ultimate Revolution by. Right? Well, I'm not. What's this conspiracy? Aldous Huxley, The Ultimate Revolution. I'm just saying what he's saying. It's not a conspiracy. Fiction. He did write fiction, and if you go listen to his lecture, The Ultimate Revolution by Aldous Huxley, he says that Brave New World wasn't, I mean, it was a fiction book, but he said it was a social commentary, and that the predictions he made in the book were have come true or in the process of coming true. But it's all right there in his speech.
That, like, the problem with predictions in text like that is, like, you can find ways to make a prediction fit.
Post-hoc rationalization.
And also, there's statistics at play. After a certain number of times, something, could happen where you could attribute it to that event.
God, it's like having a conversation on a fucking wall. These people are so bad. It seems to me that the nature of the ultimate revolution with which we are now faced is precisely this. We are in the process of developing a whole series of techniques which will enable the controlling oligarchy who have always existed and presumably will always exist to get people to love their servitude. Is that a conspiracy theory, guys? Wait a second. Is this Aldous Huxley? Credible academic? Saying this at a speech at Berkeley? No. This sounds like a conspiracy. This is it seems to me, the ultimate in malevolent revolutions, shall we say. And this is a problem which has interested me many years, and about which I wrote 30 years ago a fable, Brave New World, which is an account of society making use of all the devices available, and some of the devices which I imagine to be possible, making use of them in order to, first of all, to standardize... Hold on a sec. To standardize the population, to iron out inconvenient human differences, to create, to say, mass-produced models of human beings arranged in some sort of scientific caste system. Since then, I have continued to be extremely interested in this problem, and I have noticed with increasing dismay the number of predictions which were purely fantastic when I made them 30 years ago have come true or seem in the process of coming true. Yep. And he compares Brave New World with 1984, and he says his is more accurate. Are you kidding me? God, I run bad. Holy shit. But anyways, I mean, he talks about like I mean, this is like scary shit. I don't know. People don't. It's like fascinating to me. No one gives a fuck about this. They're just like whatever. Concentration. Look what he says here. If you can get people to consent to the state of affairs in which they're living, the state of servitude, the state of being, having their differences ironed out, and being made amenable to mass production methods on the social level, if you can do this, then you're likely to have a much more stable and lasting society, much more easily controllable society than you would have if you were relying wholly on clubs and firing squads and concentration camps. So that my feeling is that the 1984 I think that insofar the dictator is becoming more scientific, more and more concerned with technically perfectly running society, more and more interested in the kind of techniques which I imagine described existing realities in Brave New World. So it seems to me then that this ultimate revolution is not really far away. But he talks about like painless concentration camps for entire societies or something. Having our lives be terrible but brainwashing us so we enjoy it. Enjoy our slavery, basically. It's scary stuff. Echoed by other people like Bertrand Russell talked about this too. So... yeah, I don't know. No one cares though, I guess. Like, we're all being indoctrinated, and science is being used to enslave us, take away our freedom. You know, no one cares. They still love it. They still think it's the savior because that's what they've been told to think. And nothing I say, no evidence I present is going to change their opinion. Doesn't matter.
For example, like people talk about Princess Diana being prophesized as dying in the Bible. Well, I mean, goodness gracious, how many princes and princesses have like existed? You could have, like, somebody else eventually would have come, like, if not Diana, to eventually fulfill that prophecy. We've talked about this before here on the channel. I remember us having a conversation about it. So, you know, there's a couple of things you have to keep in mind when you're talking about anything with prophecies and foreshadowing and foretelling.
Well, so, can I respond to
it? I would just like a specific example of science.
I wasn't talking about fucking prophecy, you stupid cunt. I was talking about Aldous Huxley's speech and his, predictions he made about society that he said most of which came true and some were in the process of coming true. The fuck? You don't have no idea what you're fucking talking about. She's playing a stupid fucking game. Stay out of the conversation. Your pussy stinks. Jesus.
Like you said, I would like some examples of what you're talking about being true.
I need to respond to something in chat. Examusic said, science is the only game in town for discovering truth. There is nothing else. I'm sorry, that's demonstrably false. There are mathematical truths that you don't discover through science.
Now we get into a big argument, or he just goes on this long where he asserts that math isn't science. It's actually debatable. It kind of depends on how you want to define science. You could consider science math. in the broadest sense of the word science, right? But it's whatever. Fuck. Fucking stupid. They have dumb conversations.
This is communist propaganda.
That might be a good live stream, by the way.
I think that's pretty much all I want to show. I don't think there's anything else. Why talk to those penciled nerds? No one else will talk to me. I'm banned everywhere. I got kicked off Bruce's panel. I guess I could show myself getting kicked off Bruce's panel. Fuck. No idea what you guys are. It's theists that claims God created everything out of nothing. Why do they say such a thing is impossible, and then go to claim God did just that? Well, we're talking about metaphysics, right? We have a problem with an infinite regress, okay? To solve the problem of the infinite regress, we would say God was the first cause, or the unmoved mover, as Aristotle put it in his book Metaphysics. The way I think it works is that God is love. The creation was intended so he could be loved and love it and have it love him, so he was trying to spread love. So the purpose of reality, our design, what we're supposed to be doing is loving. And that's what makes us happiest. And makes sense to me. I don't know.